Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is James McCarty, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. I am joined today by my colleague, Dr. Jonathan Plucker, who I'll give him a moment in just a few seconds to introduce himself and kick things off. But before we get started today, I do want to just first and foremost say thank you for everyone being here with us. We're excited. Today's webinar is really the third of a three-part series for education policy. We kicked things off first with a general information session. The second program we offered was an open Q&A student panel, and today is our class preview webinar. We do record all of our programs, so today's session will be recorded for you to refer back to, but also if you were not able to be here or connect with us for one of the previous sessions, we can also send you that information to view those previous webinars as well. I'll also share that they are all uploaded to the Johns Hopkins School of Education YouTube page, so you can find all of our previous webinars located in that space as well. As I mentioned, today's program is being recorded, and this is a Zoom webinar. So you can see and hear us, but we cannot see or hear you. So please feel free to utilize the Q&A function you'll see at the bottom of your screen as we go through today to ask questions throughout. We do like to try our best to make these as much of a discussion as possible. So please feel free to utilize that Q&A function at the bottom, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. We'll also have time at the very end for questions, and there'll also be contact information at the end as well to keep the conversation going after today's program. So just to kick things off, Johns Hopkins here, the School of Education at Johns Hopkins, we are a part of Johns Hopkins University at large. We are one of 10 schools within the university. The School of Education is one of the newest schools in its current form that we're in. We were founded in 2007, but Johns Hopkins as a whole has been offering education courses since the early 1900s. So we have over 100 years of teaching educators, teachers, and counselors. I always like to share, we are ranked in the top 10 best schools of education in the U.S. by U.S. News and World Report. And Johns Hopkins as a whole was founded as a research institution. And I think that history and research and the research that our faculty members are conducting directly impacts all of you as students, what you're learning, how you're learning, having that didactic experience to connect what's happening in the real world and what our faculty are researching to what you're learning and experiencing in the classroom as a student. You can see some other, general information about us listed here on the screen, but those are two things that I always like to share and highlight. I will now pass things off to my illustrious colleague, Dr. Jonathan Plucker, who is the faculty lead and program chair for the education policy program. Dr. Plucker, it's all you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James, for everything. James, can you hear me okay? Is my sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Go to the next slide, James. I am a former elementary and high school teacher. My background is pretty much educational psychology and public policy. Someone asked me recently how long I've been doing this. It was actually my new dental hygienist 2 days ago asked me this question, and I had to do the math, and it was sadly easy. It's my 30th year doing this. So most of my policy work has been policy research, policy teaching, but a lot of it, I would say most of it actually has been working with policymakers, which is a theme I'm going to come back to several times in the next few minutes. This is the basic program description. If you've been to the previous webinars, nothing here is really surprising, I don't think. This is a group photo of students actually from a few different cohorts, mostly the current cohort, during our seminar week in Washington, D.C., which we hold, as you can see, within sight of the Capitol building, right in the middle of the action there. The program, depending on whether you're full or part-time, it takes people about 1.5 to 2 years to finish. That's been fairly consistent across the various cohorts. And then last but certainly not least, one of our strengths, which I'm going to talk more about on the next slide, I think, or in 2 slides, is all of our faculty who you will be involved with coursework with. That wasn't the most eloquent sentence. They all have a significant policy experience. So yes, you're going to be with very good teachers, instructors, but these are all people who have actually done policy work, which I think makes this a very, very grounded program. And pretty much because that's what we want our graduates to be able to do, is to leave Hopkins and go into roles where they can have a positive impact on the policy process. Who better to help guide you through that than people who have done it and who are currently doing it? So next slide, James. Go ahead, click 2 more times, I think. Yeah, that's good. I pretty much just said that first part. Johns Hopkins wants to produce the next generation of leaders. That's what the university tries to do. It's what the School of Ed tries to do, and it's certainly what this program is trying to do, is to give you both the knowledge and the skill sets to go out into the world and have a positive impact on state, local, and federal policy, and also international policy in some cases. We pretty strongly believe that policy it really is an action field. It is a field about doing. One of my favorite quotes, and I can't remember for the life of me who I heard say this many years ago, but you're either involved in education policy or you're a victim of education policy. There's no such thing as an innocent bystander when it comes to policy. You're either involved with it or it happens to you. We really work hard to get people to move from the "it happens to them" perspective to the "how do I influence this policy" perspective. And that's sort of our overarching goal. Next, James. I've already talked about the first part there. We do bring in very, very talented students. I think it's very important in a program like this to make sure that you're surrounded by like-minded people. It's not to say that our students aren't very diverse almost any way that you can describe diversity, but everyone who comes into this program is very enthusiastic about learning how to create positive policy change. And I think that makes it a lot more fun, kind of raises the stakes for everyone in a very fun and challenging way. And I'm not going to lie, being able to meet in that beautiful building, the Bloomberg Center right on Pennsylvania Avenue, is not the worst thing in the world. It's very, very nice. We have the summer intro to education policy seminar there. And faculty and students and staff have been talking in the last few weeks about adding another in-person event, sort of January, February-ish, every single year, because people enjoy those face-to-face events. So we are trying to take advantage of this location even more. Next, James. Yeah, it's good. I've already talked about policy not being a passive field. But I think it's really important to talk about why we believe policy. There's both a science to policy and there's both an art to policy. Next slide, Jim. The science part of it, of course, is just sort of the basic knowledge, what we know, what we don't know about policies, how to find policies, how to find model policies, how to evaluate policies, things like that. Certainly, I think especially in sort of your core policy courses, we definitely take a fairly historical approach. And students are always like, what do I need to learn about the 1960s Elementary and Secondary Education Act? Well, because if you understand that, then you understand what came in the 80s. Then you understand how what came in the 90s was a reaction to what happened in the 80s. And if you know what happened in the 90s, post 9/11, you understand where the No Child Left Behind Act came from. And students get to the end of it and look back and go, oh, like now I can actually predict where I think we may be going in the future because I see how all these policies are connected historically. There are very few policies that just poof appear out of thin air. They are almost always a reaction to some other previous policy. We make sure that our students have all that information there. We talk a lot about there are just things you do when you walk into an office on Capitol Hill, and we practice those with students. There's ways to introduce yourself. There's ways not to introduce yourself. There's ways to dress. There's ways not to dress. There are things to say. There are things you never should say. And we just talk through all of those things. And then I think this last bullet point is super important. There's lots of different ways to communicate when you're trying to create positive change. Very different audiences need very different types of messages. And pretty much from the very start of the program, we really work with you just to understand what those different messages can be. Sometimes a 500, 600 word blog post is a lot harder to write than a 5,000 page white paper. And the blog post may actually be a much better vehicle for you to send your message when you're trying to create those coalitions to create change. And we go through that and we just practice, practice, practice. The art of it is more about making connections, networking, figuring out who's like-minded, who you can get on your side to help with things. And then just sort of the basics of argumentation within the policy context is how do you sit down with someone who you may not agree with on any other issue, but you have this one policy issue where you're both kind of on the same side if you can just communicate it and convince them well. I've been in US Senate offices where we had our meeting, it was fine, we didn't really agree on much. And then at the end, I've just said, hey, since we're done, do you have 2 more minutes where I can practice making a pitch that I've been working on? I've never had anyone say no to that. And I try it out and they give me feedback and they say, ooh, the senator would like how you say that. He wouldn't have liked how you said it before. You should definitely practice using the second one. Really important feedback. But we're bringing students with us into those meetings so you can see how we do it and how we build up these relationships. That's sort of the art of policymaking, which I think is really important. And then last but not least, how do we do this science and policy piece? Practice, 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 practice. As I am fond of saying, if you want to be a good public speaker, it's really easy. Become a good public speaker. You just have to practice. Just do it again and again and again. Get as much feedback as you can. No one's born a fantastic communicator. No one's born a perfect writer, a perfect speaker. But with a little bit of practice, we can get almost everyone there, which is really exciting, I think. And then we certainly give you opportunities in all of our courses, projects outside of courses, et cetera, just for you to actually use these skills and practice and get some feedback so you can really build up sort of your arsenal of, tools. Arsenal of tools is a mixed metaphor. Your toolbox of policy strategies is probably a better metaphor. Next, James. These are just a few different examples. I'm not going to go through it and read them. You can all read them. Lots of different ways where we have had students come to us and say, what I'm learning in my classes is great, but what I really want to do is next month there's a school board meeting and I'm really upset about this thing that the school board did, or this thing that the superintendent did, or this thing that my state did. What can I do like today to influence this process moving forward? Man, that is music to my ears. Like, okay, great. Let's actually use the stuff that we've been practicing here. And we will get together, we'll talk about strategies, we'll help them build partnerships with other people who can help them. And then they go out and they actually try to solve these problems. And I can think of nothing better for us to be spending our time on, and the students really seem to benefit from it. If we can help you be a practicing policy professional before you even graduate, everybody wins. Everybody wins. So, James, next. I just want to give you a little taste for what our courses kind of look like online. This is an asynchronous program, meaning that we don't have a lot of live class sessions. We do have that week every summer. But when you get into your courses, you're still going to have interactions with your various professors. This is kind of what the Canvas site looks like. And by kind of, I mean, this is exactly what session 4 of my federal ed policy course looks like. Um, uh, just walks you through all the different activities, discussions, etc. We do have live synchronous sessions about once a month in every single class. They're usually held in the evening because it's the most convenient for people. Some professors, it'll be just talking through homework and projects. Other professors use it as a chance to share a new lecture that they've come up with that they think would be helpful. For my various courses, it's generally Q&A. There's so much happening. Like this semester when I'm teaching federal education policy, if you haven't noticed, we had a pretty big election recently that has raised a few questions for people about what's going to happen. Well, we're involved with some of those conversations about what's going to happen. So I just asked students, hey, do you want to get together for a couple hours maybe and just talk this through? And we met for about 90 minutes this past Monday night and talked through all their various questions. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not sure I uplifted anyone's spirits, to be honest, but we had just a very involved conversation. And it was fun because they've been taking federal education policy pretty late in the semester now. They have a good sense about how federal education policy works. It was fun for me to turn the questions around to them and say, that's a really good question. What do you think about how the new administration is going to do this? And we just had a really in-depth, insightful conversation on these things. Next, James. We do have many presentations and mini lectures in many of our classes every single week. Mine certainly do. I think this one, section 4, week 8. This is the U.S. Department of Education and sort of the history of the department, which has never been more salient than it is right now because the Trump administration is talking about getting rid of it. And I think this is a really good example of what we're trying to accomplish here. There's a lot of hysterical articles that I read every single day about how getting rid of the Department of Education will absolutely destroy American education. Students in my class know that that's actually not accurate. They know the history behind the department. They know that there are some cons to it. There could be some pros to it too. And there's a lot of nuance with this topic. It's not as obvious and easy as people on either side are making it sound. And that's kind of what we're trying to help you do, understand both the politics and the policy behind some of these very contentious issues. Next slide, James, should be interviews. Yeah. Just because we're not meeting face to face, though, doesn't mean that we're not trying to expose you to sort of the best thinkers out there on education policy. So when we were talking about President Obama's implementation of the Every Student Succeeds Act, which is the last authorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, who better to interview for 10 or 15 minutes than Secretary King, who was the Secretary of Education at that time. We will post these interviews. I'll go out and find people who have really relevant perspectives, and we do these short interviews, and then we sprinkle them throughout our courses whenever it is appropriate. Students really seem to appreciate that. Next slide, James. Um, these are the types of readings and things that we have you interact with. This is good. There are podcasts. We'll find some YouTube videos. Just certainly sort of the best written pieces out there, so that when you're thinking about something, you can also um, you know that we're giving you the very best thinking out there. So it's not just your professor's thinking, it's not just those interviews. It really is the best that the policy world has to offer, so that when you leave the course, you really do know what the dialogue has been nationally. And this is a pretty good example. This is actually from last year's course. This year's course, by the time the course started, it became apparent that abolishing the Department of Education was going to be a very hot issue this fall. So even after the course started, we went back and we redid this to make sure that you had like the latest perspectives on this. I think I added another resource to the course on this topic for students literally the day before they started this particular module. Just to make sure that our students literally had the most up to date information, or at least as up to date as humanly possible. Next slide. These are the basic discussions that we have. Um, and one of my favorite discussions that I've used this a couple times recently is that I'll throw a provocative question out. The first student who jumps in answers the question, but then they have to ask a follow-up question of the rest of the class. And then the next person jumps in and answers their question, but then they have to ask a follow-up question that bridges from what they just said. And we call those chain linked discussions because they're chain linked discussions, I suppose, and pretty straightforward. And I mean, this is a great example. How do secretaries of education interact with the executive branch and other branches of government to implement a policy agenda and improve American education? The first person answered it in about 3 sentences and then absolutely spun it around on us and was like, and if we eliminate the department, do we still need a secretary of education? And that became a really interesting discussion as every student worked their way through this chain of questions. It was a lot of fun, and it was extremely thought provoking, very very insightful. Next, James, I'm going to give you a more involved example of how we try to bring what happens outside the classroom into the classroom, and then bring what happens in the classroom back outside to the classroom. We do a lot of policy work around the country in Washington, D.C., and in lots of state houses. We started to hear about a policy initiative called automatic enrollment. And it's pretty simple, actually. If you are a student and at the end of your school year, you show, let's just use math as an example. At the end of your third grade math class, if you show evidence that you have that you are performing at a very high level in math, you are automatically required to be placed in advanced math in fourth grade. This is not how it often works. There are lots of factors that tend to influence course placement. Lower income students, Black, Hispanic, Native American students, recent immigrant students, students who are learning English tend not to be placed in advanced classes, regardless of their performance the previous year. So it creates these huge disparities that we often call excellence gaps. Someone told us, next slide, James. Someone told us that the state of North Carolina had passed one of the country's most comprehensive automatic enrollment laws back in 2019, just as the pandemic was getting underway. So we connected with people in sort of a business-focused education advocacy group, and then within the SEA, the state education agency, In North Carolina, it's called NCDPI, Department of Public Instruction. And we just asked them, what sorts of data do you have? What sorts of evidence do you have that it's working? To our surprise, next slide, James. Um, they they came back to us and said, actually, we have tons of data. We haven't really been able to analyze it yet. Could you help us do that? We think it's showing that this policy is really making a huge difference in tens of thousands of kids' lives. But we're not statisticians. We're not, policy researchers. We're not sure how to kind of share this information. So we started by just doing a blog post on it with sort of a first level surface descriptive analysis of their data. And it looks a lot like the next slide. Next slide, James. After we put that blog post out, and we kind of pushed it around social media, we had a lot of people, both within North Carolina and in other states, come to us and say either our school district or a state has been trying to do this too, or they said, we like really need to know more. Can you share more about implementation challenges? Can you share more about what states need to do to actually build these things up? Next slide. And so we co-authored a policy brief. One of our policy students helped me do it, and we really focused on what other states could learn from North Carolina's experience, and then also talked about next steps that North Carolina has to take. Next slide. And it looks a lot like that does. The Johns Hopkins Institute for Education Policy allowed us to send it out under their name. And it's a 12-page brief. You can just Google it and it'll pop right up for you. And we knew it was taking off when about a week or two later, advocates in 2 different states that had pending automatic enrollment legislation contacted us and said, can you print a bunch of those off and send them to us so we can share them with every single policymaker in our state house. And we were like, good, that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to influence a good policy change in other states. Next. We definitely worked it into our coursework. But I think the most interesting thing is that, and this surprised me a little bit, the leaders of the North Carolina legislature came back to us a few weeks later and asked if we would fly in and talk about North Carolina's experience. And then I think most importantly, meet with them afterwards privately outside of the hearing to sort of brainstorm next steps that North Carolina could make to strengthen their law. And it focuses just on math now. I made a pretty impassioned case. It should apply to everything that works in math. Why would the logic not apply to doing it in every other content area? So they have worked that into next year's budget bill, and which I think is very, very, very exciting. And so it just becomes sort of a cycle. Go ahead, move it. Next slide, James. Like we're kind of back where we started in some ways, just at a higher level. We're now kind of talking to people in different states, Texas especially. Texas is in the first year of implementing a broader but similar law. But we have also found out in talking to people that there are a handful of Texas districts that have been using automatic enrollment for many years. And so we're really trying to get in there to talk to them about how they actually implemented the policy, what sorts of roadblocks popped up that they didn't expect, and then how they address those roadblocks. We're going to take that information and we're going to kind of start this process again. We're going to start sharing it in different ways with different audiences, get our students as involved as possible. just so we can learn from these different experiences and help spread this information. So it's a little bit in our courses, it's outside of the courses, just fun sorts of projects to really help people roll up their short sleeves and actually see how the process works. I believe, James, that is probably it. Yes, 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 yes. So I
Thank
mean,
you
I'm
so
basically just to wrap up. Uh, Policy is not a spectator sport. Policy is a doing sport. And what we want to work with you on is to practice the doing part of it. There is an art. We're going to expose you to people who are legislative aides, elected officials, lobbyists, advocates, researchers, just so you can learn from them about what works, what to avoid, and again, all in service to this vision of helping you be positive change agents. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. McCarty while we do questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Plucker. Yes, for all of our attendees today, please, as I shared at the beginning, utilize that Q&A function to submit any questions that you have for either Dr. Plucker or myself. While we wait for questions to come in, I'm going to advance the slide just so you have contact information. I would be remiss if I did not share that the application for summer 2025 for the education policy program is open, and we are accepting applications. So please do not delay. Begin that admission process. I think a fantastic next step for everyone is, if you've not done so already, I would love to connect with you one-on-one. I'm happy to talk, in more depth about the admissions process, financial aid, any programmatic questions that I can. Also getting you connected with Dr. Plucker and our program in more depth. Again, really, utilizing today's session as a first step. And again, I think a great next step is connecting with me to continue that discussion. As we progress here, I'll take a moment and go in and put in my booking appointment link in the chat, but I'll do that in a moment after I finish chatting. But as I mentioned, the application is open live. It is open and live now. We're accepting applications through April 30th. So the deadline is April 30th, but please do not wait. Don't delay. We do function on a rolling admissions process. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you'll be evaluated, and the sooner you'll have an admissions decision to be able to move through the next steps of enrolling, meeting with financial aid, advising, onboarding, orientation, all those next steps. So please apply. Looks like
James, can I add something quickly
yes,
there?
yes, please.
It's we really encourage people to apply sooner rather than later. We have traditionally waited until close to the deadline to make fellowship and scholarship decisions. We would like to do that earlier this year to get people all the financial information so it's easier for you to make a decision, since many people, if not most, apply to multiple programs. We're trying to speed that up. So if you wait until the end of April, you're gonna be at a little bit of a disadvantage, I think. So the sooner you can do it. I mean, we've already started reading applications and accepting people here. So you cannot be too soon at this point. Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Plucker. Looks like we did receive some questions. Our first question: what would you say to potential students that are hesitant to start graduate school in education policy, given the recent presidential election and some programs within America closing their schools of education?
It's counterintuitive. The best time to be involved with education policy is during big political transitions, actually, because a lot of people coming in don't have a lot of education policy experience. So like the next 6 months or so for many of us at Hopkins are going to be exceptionally busy because I'm going to have to be on Capitol Hill working with new Senate teams, new House teams, new Department of Education teams, as they kind of staff up and just realize that they're so behind the curve in everything that they need to learn. That's when our skill sets are the most valuable to people, to come in and help them behind the scenes, get up to speed as quickly as possible, show them that there are multiple ways to get to the goals that they're trying to get to. Now, like we don't get involved on the whole political side. That's not really our jam. But to help them behind the scenes see what the different options are so that they can make the best informed decisions. I would argue there's never been a better time, actually. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's not very common that you have so many states and a national election where education policy issues were talked about so often. That's not often the case. So we have lots of things that we're watching now that are going to be really, really fascinating. Quite frankly, if they dismantle the Department of Education, and I was on a private briefing call with a huge think tank yesterday, and they are 100% sure they have no idea what's going to happen. And so, like, we just don't know. But we all discussed for like an hour last night that almost every program within the Department of Education is either the result of a law that Congress has passed or Congress has mandated it. So those programs have to move somewhere. And if they move to, say, like if student loan processing moves to the Treasury Department, that may be good or bad. We need to study it and figure it out. But there's no way people within the Treasury Department know the ins and out of education policy, right? That's not their thing. They really need us to help behind the scenes. So I would argue that, yeah, that it is very counterintuitive that if nothing else, during these transitions, really good policy skills are more valuable than ever. More valuable than ever. And again, the alternative, right, is to sit back and let it happen. But if you sit back and let it happen, if that train derails, then you're going to wish that you had jumped in. And we're prepping people to jump in, feet first.
So true. Thank you so much, Dr. Plucker. Looks like our next question. What is the percentage of students in the cohort that assist faculty with research?
Well, that's a really good question. I don't know off the top of my head what the exact percentage is. I'm going to say at least a third to half. And I had 2 meetings yesterday with faculty who asked if they could provide financial funding to students to have the students help with their projects. So our goal is to make that about 75% plus. Let me answer it a little bit differently. I didn't see who asked the question. Kennedy. Kennedy. Right now, I would say 100% of students who look for those opportunities easily get them. They generally have multiple projects to choose from. We think even more students could and should be doing it. So expanding the opportunities and doing a better job of making sure students know about all those opportunities is something that we're really working hard on this year. So, but I think that's the more relevant percentage. 100% of students who come to us and say, man, I would really like to work on a cool project. Generally within 24 hours, we have them working on a cool project. So I think we're doing a good job there.
Thank you, Dr. Plucker. And our last question for now, please feel free to continue submitting questions, but Elizabeth asks, can you talk about statistical components and courses a bit? How the statistical comments come into play in the field of education policy? Elizabeth has learned about stats like t-tests and f-tests, linear regressions, but do our courses connect stats and policy conclusively or
Boy, that's Elizabeth, I can answer that question in a few different ways. It's not a simple answer to it. I guess I would describe it as, I was just in a meeting about this morning, actually. About a third of our students really want to understand the stats because they want to perform those analyses within policy context. It's a very valuable policy skill. And we make sure that they take that coursework, and most of them pretty much end up with at least a beginning doctoral level of statistics ability and a skill set. And I'd say about 2/3 just want to be really good consumers of the research that they're reading as policy analysts, policy advocates, policy creators, et cetera. We just last spring, in preparation for this year, redid all of our stats courses to make sure that we're meeting the needs of both of those perspectives. I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. I mean, and some of our students are choosing to go on to doctoral programs, and they're finding that they've got a really good grasp of all the stats they're learning at that level, which I think means we're doing a pretty good job of it. But the point of our meeting this morning, a bunch of faculty and staff, was to figure out how we can take it to the next level for students too. So we are actively working on that. And I should say that about the program. The program is not the same for for any two cohorts of students. Like, we are actively trying to make, we believe we're the best program out there, and we're actively trying to make sure that we're always at the cutting edge. So every single semester we are talking about, okay, next semester, what sorts of improvements should we make? What sorts of things are the students telling us? We talk to students all the time. We survey them. We do focus groups with them to make sure that if we're not meeting any of their needs, we figure out how to do that. So it's a very organic process in many ways, but we are not going to stand still here. We in part because the world keeps changing, and so we need to change with it. I think that's pretty important to know.
Thank you, Dr. Plucker. If you can share a little bit, would you say that the education policy program is manageable while also teaching full-time?
I think it's more manageable if you're not working full-time, but that's kind of obvious, right? I think if you're teaching full-time, being a full-time student is difficult. I think if you're teaching full-time or working full-time in any sort of position, I think you should really be a part-time student, which is 2 courses versus 3. I just think 3 courses, with one usually being a stats or research course or something like that. I just think that's a little bit difficult with a full-time position, especially a full-time teaching position. But 2 courses, people seem to be able to do that all the time. And I mean, I should say, there are some students who do a full course load and they teach full time and they have all their family responsibilities and they find a way to make it work. I think it's a little bit easier. And you have a little more time to do things outside the coursework, which is really important. A lot of the stuff we've been talking about today. I think it's a little bit easier if you're only taking the 2 courses, but it's doable. It's doable.
Great advice, Dr. Plucker. I always shared with students, between working and graduate school, you can be full-time in one and part-time in another, but trying to be full-time in both is not impossible, but I do not recommend it.
It's hard.
So
it's hard. I mean, and you can do it, but I always question how much you get out of it, right? There's only so much bandwidth that your brain has. And especially if you have significant family responsibilities, I just think you're dividing yourself up too much trying to do it full time. But if you do it part time, it's not like it's an extra year; it's an extra 6 months usually. So it's not a huge difference.
Yeah. our next question, we can, feel free. I'm happy to answer it. You can answer it. How many students are there typically accepted per cohort?
Um, we don't have a number. We don't have a target. We don't have a minimum. We don't have a maximum. We accept every person who we think can handle a rigorous program and who has the potential to make a big difference in the world. If that's 100% of applicants, it'll be 100%. If it's 10%, it'll be 10%. There's not a fixed number here. We are fortunate in that there are academic programs, even within the School of Ed, which do have fixed numbers. We do not. And so we have a lot of flexibility to really focus on making sure people who are going to be good fits get into this program. Would you answer that differently, James, or add anything to that?
No, no, beautifully said. Yeah, yeah. I think, it really comes down to each individual student. And I say, I get questions a lot about, oh, what do our faculty look for? And I always stress, it's important in your application to show that you have passion and interest in this field. Why ed policy? Why us? Why our program? And I think conveying those through your application, through those components, highlight exactly what you just mentioned, Dr. Plucker. So yes, it's not a specific number that we're looking for. It's why do you want to do this? And specifically, why do you want to do this with us? And what are you hoping to gain from this program and this experience?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've been thinking a lot about. This is sort of a letter writing time of year. I get asked to write lots of letters for my current and former students as they look for new positions, doctoral programs, things like that. And if they send me their statement, their personal statement, which you have to write for any program, ours is no exception to that rule. They often don't talk about the program that they're applying to, like why that program. Like, are there faculty who are doing cool things? Do they have a history of creating really positive change in this area that you're super passionate about? That makes it a lot easier on us to see how you would fit in. Like if you say, look, I really am passionate about, high school redesign. And Dr. Balfans has been working with presidents for 30 years on national high school redesign projects. This is the place for me. You know what? We're going to read that and go, yeah, you're right. He's the best in the world at that. If that's your passion, you absolutely need to come to Hopkins, and we need to figure out how to get you here. It's a lot harder when people just say, I want to change the world. I'm sure you do, but if you're not sort of connecting it for us, it gets really hard for us to figure out how we can help you do that. And so it gets tricky to figure out if there's really a good fit. And if it's not a great fit, quite frankly, we're going to recommend you look at other places that are a better fit. So just make sure in that personal statement that you talk directly about that. Why Hopkins?
It's so important. It looks like we've answered all the questions in the Q&A. I do want to just bring to everyone's attention that I posted my booking meeting link in the chat. And thank you, because I've already seen I have 3 notifications that 3 of you already scheduled meetings with me. So that's fantastic. I'm excited to continue that conversation, and thank you for the 3 of you that already booked a meeting with me. That's wonderful. Again, most important moving forward is I always stress to students, you are never going through this process alone. Myself and our entire team here at the Johns Hopkins School of Ed are excited to help, support, and assist you through this entire process. Again, you are never alone, so please stay connected moving forward. I look forward to those of you that I now have a meeting scheduled with, and for anybody that would like to meet, I look forward to connecting with you moving forward. Remember, submitting your application sooner rather than later is better, most ideal. And again, any questions you have, please feel free to stay connected. I want to thank everyone for attending our class preview today for the education policy program. And a huge thank you to Dr. Jonathan Plucker for being here to present and share a little bit of his experience and expertise on our education policy program. Thanks so much, everyone. Please stay connected and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, James.